Dear friends, welcome to the serial lectures on traditional Chinese culture. Today, we will taste the aromatic Chinese tea and savor the profound Chinese tea culture. Tea is a wonderful beverage originally produced in China. It is an important contribution of the Chinese people to the world civilization. The origin of Chinese tea can be traced back to 5,000 years ago when the legendary Shen Nong first tasted tea leaves. Tea culture flourished in the Tang and Song dynasties when tea had won the status as national beverage, and the fashion of drinking tea had extended all over the country. Classic of tea was written by Lu Yu in the Tang dynasty. He is honored as the tea saint. Tea has become the national drink. Whenever guests visit, it is necessary to make and serve tea to them. The English word tea originated from bohi. Tea was a transliteration of bohi in Fujian dialect. Bohi refers to Wu Yi tea, the black tea. Coffee, cocoa, and tea are the three largest drinks in the world. Just as many important events took place in cafes in the West, it is in the tea house that many important things happened in China. Tea houses have always been an important setting in the life of Chinese people. Tea leaves come from the evergreen bushes in the hilly or mountainous areas. The growth of tea requires proper climatic and soil conditions. Climatically, tea bushes grow well where it is warm and humid. The temperature must not drop down below -5 degrees centigrade. The rainfall must exceed 1,000 millimeters on a yearly basis. As far as soil conditions are concerned, the pH value should range between 4.5 and 6. In other words, the soil should be acidic. The land has to be well drained. That is precisely why tea bushes are found in hilly or mountainous areas, but never in plains. From the perspective of processing, tea from China falls into several categories: green tea, black tea, oolong tea, white tea, yellow tea, dark tea, and scented tea. Green tea is non-fermented. The tea leaves are greenish. The tea liquid is also greenish. Black tea is fully fermented. The tea leaves are reddish black. The tea liquid is also reddish black. Oolong tea is half fermented. The tea leaves are green in the middle and red on the edge. The tea liquid is deep brown. White tea is least fermented. The tea leaves are whitish. The tea liquid is yellowish green. Yellow tea is slightly fermented. The tea leaves are yellowish. The tea liquid is also yellowish. Dark tea is post-fermented. The tea leaves are black. The tea liquid is wine red. Scented tea is made by mixing green or black tea with flowers. Here is the classification chart of Chinese tea. Shall we begin with green tea? Green tea is the national drink of China, having the longest history, the largest production volume, the broadest production area, the most medicinal value, and the least caffeine content. Green tea is non-fermented, made by drying the leaves. Fresh tea leaves are fried or baked or steamed or dried in the sun to remove the bitter taste. The tea leaves and the tea liquid are greenish. Generally speaking, water temperature of 80 degrees Celsius is the best for making green tea. Longjing tea of Westlake is one of the top 10 Chinese teas, having more than 30 brands. It is also known as Dragon Well tea, produced in Hangzhou in Zhejiang province. The tea leaves are flat and straight. The Dragon Well tea picked before pure brightness is considered to be the best. Very tender and fresh. Pure brightness falls on April the 4th or April the 5th. It is one of the 24 solar terms in China. Biluochun of Taihu Lake is one of the top 10 Chinese teas produced in Suzhou in Jiangsu province. Biluo is the name of a hard-working, kind-hearted orphan girl, literally meaning jade conch. The curly dark green leaves are just in the shape of conchs. It is awfully fragrant, having long-lasting flavor and a mellow taste. Here, the tea leaves are standing vertically and gracefully in the glass. Maofeng of Mount Huangshan is one of the top 10 Chinese teas grown on the Yellow Mountain in Anhui province. The fresh leaves are collected from the high peaks, small, exquisite, and slightly curved, shaped like sparrow tongue, and covered with fine white hair. Here, the guest greeting pine is welcoming guests from afar. It is the landmark of the Yellow Mountain. The fantastic pines, grotesque rocks, cloud sea, and hot springs are the four wonders of the mountain, and the Maofeng is the state tea gift. Clouds on Mount Lushan is one of the top 10 Chinese teas grown on Mount Lushan in Jiangxi province. The thick tea leaves are in the shape of strips or shreds, with fine hair. It has delicate fragrance and a mellow taste. The tea leaves are plucked between green rain and the beginning of summer. Green rain is one of the 24 solar terms that falls in April, while the beginning of summer is the solar term that falls in May. Guapian of Liu'an County is one of the top 10 Chinese teas produced in Anhui province. It is the kind of peace tea. The edge curves upwards, resembling lotus blossoms in hot water. Tea leaves in China can be in the shape of piece, needle, conch, strip, screw, grain, or powder. They may be pointed, flat, or round. Maojian of Xinyang City is one of the top 10 Chinese teas produced in Henan province. The tea leaves are in the shape of thin strips or shreds, with tiny hair. The tea buds, sprouts, or shoots are really tender and delicate. Black tea is China's second largest tea kind. However, it has the largest production volume in the world, accounting for over 90% of all tea sold in the West. Black tea was born in the Wuyi mountain. Bohe refers to Wuyi tea, the black tea, and the English word tea was a transliteration of Bohe in Fujian dialect. The tea leaves and tea liquid are reddish black. Black tea needs fermentation, often a natural sort of fermentation which takes place when tea leaves are heaped together for some time, say 24 hours. So black tea is fully fermented. It can retain its flavor for several years. Black tea warms the stomach and helps digestion, being a most suitable choice in cold seasons. Famous brands of black tea include Qihong of Anhui Province, Dianhong of Yunnan Province, Chuanhong of Sichuan Province. Here is Qihong of Anhui Province. It is one of the top 10 Chinese teas. Oolong tea sits between green tea and black tea. It is half or partially fermented. It has both the delicate fragrance of green tea and the sweetness and mellowness of black tea. Oolong tea was born in Wuyi Mountain. Legend goes that in the Qing dynasty, in Anxi, Fujian province, there was a tea grower by the name of Dragon. Because he was dark and strong, the folks called him Oolong, meaning black dragon. One day he went up the mountain to pick tea leaves. Oolong was fond of hunting. He was busy hunting and forgot about the tea leaves. The next day the tea leaves were edged with red and tasted extraordinarily mellow and aromatic. The tea leaves are green in the middle and red on the edge. The tea liquid is deep brown, and the tea leaves look like black dragons winding and twisting in hot water. It has been successfully marketed as a drink that keeps people fit and slim, and it has been a tribute. Tie Guanyin, literally meaning Iron Goddess of Mercy, is one of the top 10 Chinese teas produced in Anxi, Fujian province. It is anti-aging, anti-cancer, and very nutritious. The tea leaves are in the shape of dragonfly heads, curly and spiral. Legend goes that an old farmer dreamed of the Iron Goddess of Mercy in the temple. The Goddess of Mercy told him to try to find a treasure in the cave behind the temple. The old farmer made a search for the treasure inside and out, only to find a small sapling in the cave. He watered it, attended to it. When the sapling grew up into a tree, he picked some leaves, put them into the boiling water, and drank the liquid. It was so sweet and refreshing, and thus the tea got its name, Iron Goddess of Mercy. Wuyi rock tea is one of the top 10 Chinese teas. The tea plants grow in the rock crevice. The tea leaves are in the shape of dragonfly heads. The most outstanding is 大红袍, the big red robe, fresh, sweet, and fruity, with honey flavor. The big red robe is richly endowed, nourished by high mountain spring. In the Qing dynasty, a scholar named Lin Fengchi brought oolong saplings from Anxi, Fujian province to Mount Dongding in Taiwan. That was the origin of Dongding oolong of Taiwan. White tea was also born in Fujian province. It is the tea closest to the original nature. It is of the fermented tea category, however, it is the least fermented tea. The tea leaves are plucked in early spring from tender, sharp-ended buds with white hair on, and then dry up naturally. So the tea leaves are whitish, covered with fine silver hair, and the tea liquid is yellowish green. The white peony is of fine quality. The petal-shaped buds are covered with white hair, just like white peonies. And the highest grade is silver needle with fine hair. The tea shoots are tender and straight like needles covered with snow-white hair. Both are famous brands of white tea produced in Fujian province. Yellow tea is similar to green tea, except with an additional step that results in the finished tea leaves having a natural light yellow color. It is slightly fermented. Both the tea leaves and tea liquid are yellowish. It is effective for people who have a poor appetite. Famous brands of yellow tea include Silver Needle from Mount Junshan in Hunan province. It is one of the top 10 Chinese teas. The tea shoots are in the shape of needles covered with silver hair. Here we can see the silver needles standing vertically in hot water. While brewing, the tea shoots would first rise and then slowly sink, thus going up and down for 3 times, really marvelous and impressive. 大叶青 from Guangdong province. Yellowbird from Mount Huoshan in Anhui Province. Yellowbird from Mount Mengding in Sichuan Province. Dark tea only exists in China, being an indispensable beverage for the ethnic minorities living in the remote border areas, mainly produced in Hubei, Hunan, Sichuan, and Yunnan provinces. The ancient tea horse trade route traversed through Yunnan, Sichuan, and Tibet. Tea in exchange for horse. Dark tea is post-fermented. The tea leaves are black. The tea liquid is wine red. Dark tea is also known as compressed tea because it is always compressed and hardened into a certain shape, such as brick tea in the form of bricks and tuo cha in the form of cakes and bowls. In terms of brick tea, there are black brick, flour brick, fu brick, and green brick. Dark tea is good for transport and storage for its sheer compactness. There are 4 kinds of brick tea: black brick, flour brick, fu brick, and green brick. Black brick and flour brick use better raw materials than the other 2. Flour brick is surrounded by engraved patterns, while black brick has no surrounding patterns. Fu brick is loosely compressed, while green brick is tightly pressed. Tuo cha is in the shape of bowls. The bowls are very thick. Some are big, some are small. Compressed tea is represented by pu'er tea. It is produced in Pu'er County near Simao in Yunnan Province. The tea liquid is wine red with unique fragrance. Pu'er tea can be auctioned. It is a kind of antique or relic. The more aged, the more fragrant. However, if not properly stored, it may go bad. Scented tea is made by mixing and aromatizing tea leaves with scented flowers produced mainly in Fujian, Zhejiang, Jiangsu, and Anhui provinces. Scented tea is mostly made of green tea or black tea together with flowers. The tea liquid is dark with aromatic flavor. Major brands of scented tea include jasmine tea, chrysanthemum tea, rose tea, magnolia tea, lotus flower tea. Jasmine tea is the most famous scented tea based on green tea. It is the mixture of dried green tea leaves and jasmine blossoms. The ratio of the mixture bearing heavily on the quality of the tea. Jasmine tea is subtly sweet. It can help people lose weight. Chrysanthemum tea is popular in East Asia. It can be repeatedly brewed. It can help to reduce fever, clear liver, and brighten eyes. It has medicinal value. Here are the top 10 Chinese teas voted in 1959. This is the official appraisal. We can see 1 yellow tea, 1 black tea, 2 oolong teas, and 6 green teas. Green tea is by far the most popular drink in China. Now, shall we move on to the benefits of drinking tea? Tea is a natural and healthy drink, containing a lot of nutrients that help to build up good health. Tea is rich in various vitamins, notably vitamin C. Tea is refreshing and helps you work efficiently. Drinking tea can not only quench thirst, overcome fatigue or tiredness, but help digestion. Tea leaves contain some aromatic substances that can dissolve fat and help people lose weight. Tea can eliminate grease, dispel alcohol, detoxify, and clear away summer heat. Tea can be used as antiseptic. Tea has medicinal value. It can resist cancer, lower blood pressure, improve eyesight, and help fitness against cardiovascular diseases. Tea has an anti-cancer effect. There's the saying, drinking a daily cup of tea will surely starve the apothecary. People may become beautiful by drinking scented tea. Here are some tips on it. Rose tea and peony tea have the function of skin whitening. Lemongrass tea and jasmine tea can help people lose weight. Violet tea and marigold tea can help people reduce stress. There are always two sides to one issue. Drinking tea would sometimes do harm to our health. Here are some taboos of drinking tea. Do not drink tea before dinner. If you drink tea before dinner, it will be hard for you to get the nutrients. You may lose the appetite. Do not drink tea right after dinner. If you drink tea right after dinner, it may lower the daily taking. Do not drink too hot tea. If the tea is hissing hot, it may hurt the organs, like the throat. Do not drink cold tea. If you drink cold tea, you may have more phlegm and easily catch cold. Avoid repeated infusions. Do not drink overnight tea. Overnight tea may lose nutrients and produce harmful elements. Do not take tea and medicine at the same time, for they are often likely to be incompatible with each other. The drug may lose medical effects. Overdrinking tea, especially strong tea, may result in headache, stomach disorder, or insomnia, the habitual inability to go to sleep. Do not drink tea immediately before you go to bed. Otherwise, you will find it difficult to go to sleep. And water for tea brewing should be kept below 80 degrees centigrade, so as not to destroy the vitamin C built in the tea leaves. If the water is higher than 80 degrees centigrade, it is likely to destroy the vitamin C built in the tea leaves. Now let's come to Chinese tea ceremony. China is a country with a time-honored civilization and a land of ceremony and decorum. Decorum means propriety or polite behavior. Tea ceremony originated in China. Nowadays, tea ceremony has been spread all over the world, such as Japan, Britain, and South Korea. Chinese people regard tea drinking as an art. Tea ceremony is the art of making tea. It helps us to learn the etiquette and the ritual through the procedures of brewing tea, sniffing tea, drinking tea, and appreciating tea. It is the aesthetic way of savoring tea. It can promote friendship. Chinese tea ceremony is courteous, moderate, and peaceful, showing the essence of Confucianism. It is also closely related to Zen Buddhism. Trying to taste and understand Zen through tea. Now, shall we make some preparations for the tea ceremony? In terms of preparation, Chinese people attach great importance to the 4 aspects of water, tea leaves, tea set, and fire. water comes first. Quality water is a must. It is an element of priority. The tea must be new and the water must be live or flowing. Lu Yu, the tea saint of the Tang Dynasty, pointed out that water from high mountains is the best, followed by water from rivers, and then from wells. In the cloud-enveloped high mountains, uncontaminated crystal-clear spring is the best for making tea. Water in brooks or streams is not pure because it smells of the earth, therefore is only second best. Considered third is water from wells. The artificial springs from underground are often stagnant and tinted with the flavor of salt. Unluckily for us today, we do not even have the third type. We use either tap water or artificially purified water, a true pity indeed. Chinese people also like to collect snow to make tea. Imagine the leisurely scene of making tea with freshly collected snow while you're reading. Snow is white but easily contaminated. Miao Yu is a nun in the classic novel A Dream of Red Mansions. She collected the snow on plum blossoms to make tea. Really poetic. Chinese people value springs. Lu Yu had traveled around the country tasting different types of springs. He finally came to the conclusion that Bao Tu Spring in Jinan was the best. Huishan Spring in Wuxi was the second best. And Hupao Spring in Hangzhou came third. Here is Bao Tu Spring in Jinan, known as the finest spring under heaven. Fine tea needs to be served in fine tea set. Chinese people pay particular attention to tea set, the exquisite utensils. Here is the classification of tea set. Tea kettle and tea stove are used to boil water. Teacup is used to drink tea. Justice cup ensures that every guest can drink the tea with the same taste, same aroma, and same color. It is fair to everybody. Tea tray is used to accommodate tea service. Tea mill and tea grind are used to grind tea leaves into powder. Tea whisk is used to stir and mix powder with water. Tea whisk and tea bowl are used to make matcha. Tea canister is the container for storing tea leaves. Teapot is used to make tea. Tea set can be made of various materials such as pottery, baccarat, porcelain, glass, metal, 木鱼 stone, lacquerware, bamboo, and enamel. Baccarat is the purple sand produced in Yixing, Jiangsu province. It can retain the original flavor of tea. Oolong tea is made in baccarat teapot. Porcelain is fine, glossy, and delicate. Glass tea set is transparent, lustrous, and cheap, thus very popular. For green tea, people use glass to appreciate the dance of tea leaves. The tender leaves of Longjing tea, picked in the mists, would stand up in hot water before they slowly unfold and stretch and fall down, as if they are performing a graceful dance. Metal tea set is chic and luxurious, yet not commonly used. Muyu stone is hollow and auspicious. It can keep people in good health. Lacquerware tea set is unique and charismatic, with high artistic value. Bamboo tea set is plain and refreshing, while enamel tea set is practical and durable. Oolong tea is made in baccarat teapot. Here are the 4 treasures for making oolong tea. Charcoal pottery stove, pottery kettle with a handle, baccarat teapot, and porcelain teacups. The 4th and final element is fire. The fire should be live. Flowing water needs a live fire. A live fire refers to charcoal fire. The fire should be slow. Charcoal fire lights slowly. Besides, the charcoal fire exudes a sense of the wild. Now, are you ready? Shall we learn to make Kung Fu tea? Kung Fu tea is not a certain kind of tea. It is the way of making and drinking oolong tea. It takes a lot of effort. Kung Fu meaning time-consuming. It has nothing to do with martial arts. It is rather time-consuming to make oolong tea. Here are the basic steps involved in a Kung Fu tea ceremony. Step 1. Boil water. Heating teapot and teacups. Step 2. Set tea. adding tea leaves into the teapot. Step 3. Pour boiling water into the teapot. Step 4. Wash tea. The tea liquid made the first time is used to wash the tea leaves, not for drinking. The first tea liquid is poured away, discarded. Step 5. Make tea. First brewing. Step 6. Distribute the tea. Step 7. Smell the aroma of first brewing. Step 8. Taste the tea, drinking and enjoying the tea. These are just the brief procedures. Traditional Kung Fu tea ceremony involves 18 steps, really artistic and tasteful. However, it does not mean that each server will perform the ritual in the same way. Every step taken during the ceremony is meant to be a sensory exploration and a time of appreciation. Tea specialists usually have tender and nimble hands. Their hand movements are delicate, stylish, and very expressive. What are the ways of savoring tea? In the Chinese tea ceremony, there are 4 tenets that a tea drinker should observe: form, color, aroma, and taste, known as 4 observations. First, observe the form. Tea leaves can be in the shape of piece, needle, conch, strip, screw, grain, or powder. They may be pointed, flat, or round. Second, observe the color. White tea leaves have fine and soft white hair. They present a transparent image in a glass of hot water, green with a touch of yellow. Oolong tea liquid is deep brown, giving a sense of weight and seclusion. Third, observe the aroma. Tea fragrance changes with temperature. Smell the aroma of tea leaves, tea liquid, as well as the pleasant vapor. Fourth, observe the taste. Bitterness is the most important flavor. Tea itself has a subtle bitterness. If one sips slowly, the bitterness would turn into sweetness. When bitterness ends, sweetness begins. In short, observe it with eye. Smell it with nose. Taste it with tongue, and appreciate it with heart. Tea is an important contribution of the Chinese people to the world civilization. During the Tang Dynasty, the Japanese monks brought Chinese tea seeds to Japan, and by combining tea with Zen Buddhism, created the world-famous Japanese tea ceremony. In the 17th century, the Dutch took to Europe the Chinese habit of tea drinking. In England, people developed the custom of afternoon tea. Afterwards, tea spread to the United States. We can say that the events of tea in other countries, directly or indirectly, are basically spread out from China. China is the homeland of tea. The eminent monk Zui Cheng of the Tang Dynasty firstly brought Chinese tea seeds to Japan in the 9th century. The tea ceremony was introduced into Japan by Japanese Buddhists in the Song Dynasty. But the Japanese tea ceremony has its own features, combining tea with Zen Buddhism. What is the Japanese way of making tea? Before going to take part in the tea ceremony, you have to make some preparations for it. Do hairdressing, wearing the traditional costume kimono. Before entering the tea room, you will first go through a stretch of natural landscape, which is meant to make you calm and integrate yourself into the nature. At the door, you need to remove your shoes, wash your hands, and rinse the mouth to get rid of earthliness. Then clean the bowls, boil a pot of water, serve a sweet treat to guests, mix powdered bitter green tea and water to make a frothy tea, and serve the matcha to guests. Look at the calligraphy on the wall. The 4 Chinese characters indicate the essence of Japanese tea ceremony: harmony, respect, purity, and seclusion. Harmony is to keep a peaceful frame of mind, being amiable and pleasant. There is harmony between man and nature. Respect the Buddha and develop mutual respect, love, and equality as well. Purity is to keep clear of all earthly worries, being spotless, pure, and uncontaminated, free from dust, both inside and outside. Seclusion is to be quiet, tranquil, secluded, and detached. Therefore, the experience of tea ceremony in Japan has 3 dimensions. First of all, it is a social event, being formal. Then it stresses aesthetics very much, having strict procedures and complex patterns. Finally, it has a religious dimension, having close relationship with Zen Buddhism. The English people developed the custom of afternoon tea, also known as low tea or high tea. Most of them drink black tea together with some snacks and cakes. It features exquisite tea set and graceful manners. Americans do not like hot tea. They often add ice or sugar to the tea. They drink instant tea and iced tea. They usually use tea bags to make tea, which is efficient and convenient. The way of drinking tea differs in different countries and regions. There are different ways of drinking tea. Many Europeans add sugar and milk to the tea. In Africa, people often drink tea that is mixed with sugar or mint. In China, people prefer plain tea with its natural flavor. Plain tea is distinctly better, for the mixing will reduce the medicinal or tonic value of the tea to a certain degree. There are also various tea customs. The 3 courses of tea are the custom of Bai nationality in Yunnan province. They serve pu'er tea to guests 3 times, showing hospitality, respect, and good wishes. The first course of the tea is bitter. Tea itself has a subtle bitterness. One must endure hardship before enjoying life. The second course is sweet. When bitterness ends, sweetness begins. There is no sweet without sweat. The third course is the aftertaste, recalling the past and feeling nostalgic. Beijing Big Bowl tea is quaint and unique, served in tea stall or kiosk. Passers-by can drink casually in large bowls to quench thirst. The scented tea is brewed in large teapot, cheap and refreshing. It is popular with ordinary people. There are many tea houses in Chengdu. In Chengdu, people drink covered bowl tea with a lid and a saucer, elegant yet practical. The lid or cover symbolizes the heaven. The bowl or saucer represents the earth. The cup is compared to man. There exists complete harmony between man and nature. Here we can also appreciate the tea service stunts performed by the twin, elder brother and sister, holding a teapot with a very long spout, fascinating and fantastic. In Guangzhou, people enjoy drinking morning tea together with some snacks. They usually have 1 cup of tea and 2 snacks for breakfast in various tea houses. Here are steamed dumplings with shrimp stuffing. It is a common way of socializing to invite people to morning tea. Enjoy your tea, enjoy your life. Thank you very much.